TruePath is the most advanced feature we have on the Markets Made Clear seasonal platform. At its core rests the principle that a market must be following a known pattern if you were to use that pattern to give you an edge in the market. Now, let me illustrate what I mean. If we go and take a look at the most correlated markets we have seasonally right now, right at the top of this list, click on this, is a 93% positive correlation with Abbott Laboratories US stock. And you can see the known pattern we have here on this chart is the midterm election pattern. You can see it up at the top, and that is that purple line. And the yellow line is the daily closing price so far this year. And you can see how closely the yellow line has tracked that purple pattern. So that tells us current price so far this year has tracked the known midterm seasonal pattern really, really closely. And the platform then indicates optimum selling periods. You can see the orange here, and optimum buying periods indicated by the blue. And because the market is following a known pattern, there's a much higher probability of that market actually doing what you anticipate it will do during that period. However, if we take a look at a different market, correlations are all over the platform. You can see here within the planner, green, just like we just seen in Abbott Laboratories, it is a strongly correlated market with a known pattern. Red indicates that it's not seasonally correlated with a known pattern. Let's take a look. We've got British pound here, or euro pound rather, and you can see not only is it not correlated, it's actually inversely correlated. You can see at the top here all the negative numbers, and what we're looking at here is a 20-year pattern. That is the orange line. It's a 20-year seasonal pattern of euro pound, and it's actually 65% negatively correlated with current price. And you can actually see a lot of the main moves here are actually inverse to each other. So in that scenario, we cannot use this pattern as an edge when it comes to trying to anticipate where that market is going. So we've just come out of a historically bullish period, but we could never have looked at this and said, euro pound, we should be looking to buy just because historically it's been a bullish period, because it's not following that pattern. So the likelihood of it just returning to that pattern is extremely remote. What we can do though is use the advanced features we call TruePath. If I just ask the software to calculate and turn off that negative pattern, you then start to get a completely different pattern on the chart. Now, what I have asked the software to do is show me years that are correlated with current price, so that are moving with current price, or rather show me years that current price is moving with. And if we can scroll down here, we can actually see we've got 5 years that euro pound has actually moved in a similar way to what it currently has done. And we see a completely different pattern. The correlation jumps to plus 81%. And that actually suggests we should be in a bullish phase, and we're actually just coming out of a low and seeing a move to the upside. So in the case, it might actually agree with the pattern that we've just looked at. But for the large part of the year, it has said that euro pound should be trending down. So we see a completely different pattern. And it then allows us to maybe anticipate the new path that market is on. Again, I'll illustrate. Let's look at a different example. We look at the dollar index here. See the dollar index. This is the 20-year pattern we're looking at here. It has a 28 positive correlation with that pattern. And you can see visually it's lagging behind. The pattern doesn't make new highs in here. Price continued to move higher through June. So there's definitely a divergence between what current price is doing and what the pattern suggests. So again, we can ask TruePath, is there a better pattern that fits what this market is doing? Again, turning off the 20-year that we're not really following. Ask to show me the years that we are following. And again, the custom pattern up here at the top, we see a 76% positive correlation. And it's not just the correlation. We want to take a look at what the actual market is doing, particularly the major tops and bottoms in this market. So we have a major peak there with major bottom here, major peak in this area, and now it's showing the big decline and potentially coming into a low, not here. And you can see the performance, the optimum periods within the new TruePath pattern, they have completely changed, and it reflects what the market actually is doing and gives us a much better understanding of how we should be using a seasonal pattern. So seasonality is historically looking at a bunch of years and taking the average of that movement. But a market will not always be following that set path. We can look at set years that are more closely correlated with what we're actually doing and remove the noise to get a much clearer picture of what's going on in that market. Try TruePath for yourself. See what hidden patterns you can find. And remember, if a market is not following a known path or a hidden path that you can find by a feature such as TruePath, then you cannot be using seasonal patterns as an edge in that market.